Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you all are doing good. This is Sangri's episode 4. We are going to be talking about the Asia Cup final and also about the recently concluded India versus Australia series, the three ODIs that happened in India. This is going to be another exciting episode because a lot of exciting games happened in this period. Starting off with the Asia Cup final, it was all the other Asia Cup finals were rain affected and shortened because of rain. This time it was shortened because of the cricket Sri Lanka played. Deva, what do you think about that game? If at all we had a game.
Yeah, actually, um, when we set up this game, when we talked about how the game is going to be, oh, the spin is going to dominate, the pace is going to dominate, batsman, this batsman, that bowler, and everything we discussed. In the end, it all become like one man show. Siraj just came in and ran through the Sri Lankan team.
Yep,
Siraj was going having an underwhelming performance for his standard um, for in the Asia Cup until the game, and I think even we talked about why not Shami, like maybe Shami would get a go in the World Cup and stuff, but I think he put that talk to rest with that single performance. Um, I think that is this is one of like once in lifetime kind of game for probably for Siraj, and it will be once in a decade or decades for Indian cricket, I guess, because it's that kind of a game, especially in a final.
hmm it was really funny the game itself because it happened late night in the US, and by the time I woke up, India were batting. I thought actually India won the toss and chose to bat first, but then I saw a target like 38 runs remaining or something like that. That's when I realized, like, that's when I woke up from sleep completely. I was like, shoot, Sri Lanka had already been all out for 50. This is the second innings. So it was indeed a very remarkable game. And like you said, Siraj dominated it. I don't think there's anything else to talk about that game except for that spell. Of course, the new ball bowling again, we were talking about how India's new ball bowling and swing bowling dominated the games against Pakistan as well. And yet another case of our swing bowling dominating. Bumrah started it off, but Siraj just came in and took over. Like I thought Sri Lanka were going to get bowled out for less than 30 or 40 the way he was bowling, but it was a phenomenal game. The batters made light work of the target. They came in, finished it off in like 6 overs, and yeah, I mean, there's nothing much to say about that game except for the fact that it was, like you said, a once in a lifetime kind of game. Like,
I think Hardik Pandya's performance was overshadowed by Siraj for sure,
hmm
because 3 for 3 in less than 3 overs is an exceptional performance as well. But
right.
just because it was against quote unquote tailenders, and since Sri Lanka was already down, like they were 40 for 7 or something, so
hmm
his last 3 wickets were not appreciated enough, I would say. But yeah, I think um, both Siraj and Hardik Pandya they just ran through the team,
Right.
and including Bumrah to begin with, first wickets and stuff.
And this is a great morale booster going into the World Cup. Asia Cup is a major trophy as well. We hadn't won it in a while, also, and this sets the tone for the World Cup. We go in by winning a championship, so this is a good sign going into the big tournament. Yeah, that's about it. That's nothing much we could say about that game.
Yeah, even though this is not an ICC silverware that I've been waiting for over a decade now, but still it is something
Yep.
and something to be proud of. Like I believe India should win Asia Cup because we are expecting India to win the World Cup. So if they can't even win Asia Cup, then it would be a big question mark.
hmm
But this kind of win, I don't think even Indian team would have expected.
Right.
All right, so
Uh,
let's switch gears, right?
Yep, let's move on. Talk about Australia, the Australia series.
Yeah, it was
I
a three-game series,
Yep.
and we all know why this series was played. It is all mainly for Australia to get accustomed to Indian cricket, and
Hmm.
from Indian point of view, I think it is to test few leftovers. Like I think India had ticked most of their boxes in Asia Cup, which was very happy to see. Like because generally when we go into a World Cup, either it's T20 World Cup or 50 over World Cup, we always have too many questions. But this time we had checked almost all boxes well before the World Cup, which I think inside of me is kind of scared. Maybe maybe we might feel like overconfident. What do you
That is
think?
the pessimist in you speaking, Dave. That is the pessimist in you.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the 2015 World Cup, right? So we went into the World Cup with all hands down. I think we we were uh, struggling in every game with Australia in Australia just before the World Cup, and then we started the World Cup where our bowlers were on fire from game one. I think that's the World Cup we took 10 wickets in every game up to the semi final, and then we lost the semi final, I guess, right?
Yep.
So I see that was really good because there the expectation was kept really low. So this was
Right.
like super high performance. Now already the World Cup is happening in India. First point. Second
Hmm.
point, every players are in form. Everyone scored 100. Almost every top order has scored 100 except Rohit Sharma. But the way that he is playing, 100 is not on top of his mind right now. So which means yeah, so I
No,
think you should
I
not.
think he's in a really good mind space, Rohit Sharma. The way I think he's talked in the press conferences, post-match presentations, I think he's really confident about his game and he's in a very positive frame of mind. We're seeing that. Let's not jump the gun and talk about his innings, the third ODI. Let's go from ODI one. Your thoughts on that game? Very interesting game. I liked the kind of the dynamics that the game threw at us.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I think game one was set up when the bowling when you were bowling. I think it was not at all one-sided. It felt both sides were in at different times throughout the innings. Whereas when we started batting, I thought we were cruising, and the point that you pointed out earlier, the pessimistic side in me, which kicked in even then when I was watching the India innings in first ODI, where I was like, I'm not so happy with us not losing wicket for over 110, 120 runs because we are not going to be in this situation all the time. We are playing the series to test ourselves, and we are not getting tested. Our batsmen are not getting tested. Is what I was thinking, and of course, boom, 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 we lost 3 wickets, and we were like, okay, now we are under pressure. So, but the great thing was we were able to come out of it, and I think the key over there was Surya Kumar comeback, right?
Yes, Surya Kumar, again, we've spoken a little bit about him in our previous podcast, pulled out numbers and all that. And in this series, basically, it's basically Surya Kumar coming out and showing what he could actually do, the kind of player that he is. We've seen the kind of player we've seen in the T20 format. We were wondering why he's not successful in the ODI format. Maybe he kind of quenched some of the doubts that we had with back-to-back half centuries. Really good innings, both of them. Completely different kind of innings. And
Mm-hmm.
in the first game, I think there was a situation, like you said, when we lost three quick wickets, and also when Ishan Kishan came in, he couldn't continue the scoring rate as much. So there had to be a big partnership, and also someone had to score quickly while KL Rahul played the anchor role at the other end, and I think Surya Kumar did that perfectly.
Yeah, he. I think is that. I think that's a game where Sanjay Manjrekar was on the commentary and he was repeatedly saying, "Surya Kumar haven't played a sweep yet. He haven't played a sweep yet." And I think till the end he did not play a single sweep. which was his go-to shot, like almost all the time. And he played excellent straight drives. I think there were two or three straight drives, which was so good to watch.
I think like he's a 360-degree player. He has a lot of shots in his book. Apart from the unconventional scoops and the sweeps, he has a really good cover drive. His lofted cover drive. He's hit so many sixes over cover and point, and those are all really good cricketing shots. And because he's placed the sweep so effectively, people keep thinking that that's his only strength, but that's definitely not. Like, he is a really capable player all around the ground, and I think he showed that. And it was a very crucial innings for him personally because I think it was again the Australia series where he got three consecutive ducks, and to come back and perform like that against the similar opposition is also a great show of character from him, which is a good sign for us going into the World Cup.
Yeah, I think so. We're talking about Surya Kumar Yadav here and how he performed well in this and the second game. The other person to compare here is Ravichandran Ashwin. So this was his comeback series after 1.5 years or 2 years or something, and he came in for the first 4 or 5 overs. He went for runs, and I think he came back really well in this game in his second spell when, if I remember correctly, he only gave like 16, 17 runs in his second spell for 5 overs, which was an excellent comeback. And it didn't stop
Hmm.
there. He took that to the next level in the next game and showed why he's the inventor of him. Or you know, how did you enjoy Ashwin's comeback?
So I think yeah, this is just my personal opinion. I would
Yeah.
start with that caveat. I think Ravichandran Ashwin has one of the finest cricketing brains ever. Like, with respect to just his thinking capabilities, how he thinks about the game and how he improves his game. Um, uh, the way he analyzes his own bowling and his opponents, very few people in the world can do that. I think I would confidently say that after Mahendra Singh Dhoni, I think he has the most sharpest cricketing brain that I have ever seen in my lifetime. And that you could see that the way he kind of reinvented his bowling. Um, uh, like you said, this was a comeback series for him. I don't know whether he was thinking a World Cup spot is on the line or something, but the way he bowled, I mean, both the games, especially after being hit for runs in the first game, is just phenomenal. And I cannot forget that ball he bowled to Marnus Labuschagne in the second game. How beautifully he set him up. Again, Marnus Labuschagne was pretty set at that time. He was not new to the crease. He was around 20 runs at that point, and he bowled an absolute gem of a delivery, and that's what he can do. His variations, not just in his normal conventional off break or with the carom ball, the way he varies his pace, his length. Uh, that ball he dragged back his length a little bit, whereas in the previous balls he was trying to set Marnus Labuschagne on the front foot, and then he suddenly bowled a quicker one, and Marnus Labuschagne couldn't adjust. So, uh, and surely enough, it fetched him a World Cup spot.
Yeah. And how about David Warner's right hand batting? So I was watching both. I think that was the partnership that was taking them forward, both
Hmm.
Labuschagne and Warner. I was like, okay, this is making it interesting, but it's still, we know it's significant. They're significantly far from winning the game, especially after the rain. The rover got reduced and
Yeah.
stuff. But both of them were definitely taking the team forward. And I was watching the scoreboard at the bottom where the hashtag was on Warner's name, but it was a long shot video, and the right hand batter was playing, and I thought, okay, they forgot to change it, at the bottom.
Hmm.
And I think that's when the commentator, I think Sanjay Manjrekar again, he was like, "Is that Warner batting right-hander?" And then they were showing the dugout, Australian dugout. They were all laughing and just like enjoying their time. Um, and he played an excellent sweep. So I believe that the main reason behind that shot was, if you watch the previous over of Ashwin, he bowled. three perfect test match off spinner, like off cutter. So generally, he doesn't bowl the kind of delivery in um, ODI. He just goes for his variation. So in that one, he perfectly pitched the exact same place, same length, and he just tried to do off cutters, no carom ball. So he made Warner think he could get away with playing right-handed, and then he switched right-handed. The first ball, it was a carom ball. So again,
Mind
the
games.
follow, yeah, again, and then Warner took a shot. It was an excellent sweep shot for four, and that's the end of it. I think the two balls later he got out.
Right. Well, that just shows how effective he is against left-handers. Any team with a lot of left-handers in their middle order should definitely, be wary of the threat Ashwin poses. The other notable point I would like to bring up here is the form of our middle order. Going into ICC tournaments, we've talked about this before, where we feel that our middle order is not kind of exposed because our top order does most of the work and all that. But almost everybody in our middle order has runs behind them. Shreyas Iyer has a century. KL
Mm-hmm.
Rahul has a few 50s and a century. Suryakumar Yadav back-to-back centuries. Ishan Kishan played good knocks against Pakistan. Hardik Pandya also is in good touch with respect to the batting. I feel cautiously optimistic about our middle order batting because we have a lot of bases covered. Because in previous tournaments, we were kind of unsure who's going to come number four, number five, number six after the top three. But now I think we have a clear mental picture of who's batting where, and that's going to really help our chances in this tournament. And yes, I know the batting is not as deep as we would love for it to be, with Jadeja coming in at number seven. But then, if the top seven fires, like even let's say two of the top seven fires, we are in good shape. Like especially in the second game, I think four of the top seven fired, and we got 400 runs. So it's a good mental space for all the players to go into a big tournament like World Cup. When you have runs behind your back, you don't have a lot of doubts in your mind. You know for certain what your role is and everything. And I think that's something we've done a little differently when compared to previous tournaments. Your
Yeah, I
thoughts?
think even though we are talking about Australian series, we've been switching back and forth to World Cup because I think it's understandable that it's a prequel for the World Cup.
Mhm.
Um, so I completely agree with you. Our middle order has been extensively tested in this last month or two, which is a perfect sign because every time they've been tested, or almost every time they were able to come out on top. And all our top order, if we put together our best 11, which I think that's what we have in the playing the pick 15 as well. If we pick the best 11 from our World Cup squad, everyone has centuries in the top order and upper middle order, and the lower middle order and middle order, everyone has consecutive 50s or like high 80s or 70s. So you cannot ask for more than this before going to a World Cup. So, okay, after winning these two games, of course, we lost the third game. Is there anything that you want to point out on the?
Well, I guess uh, we've been talking a little bit about India, a lot about India, rather. Let's talk a
Yeah,
little bit about Australia as well, because we know they have a dangerous batting lineup, and they proved that. Mitchell Marsh played a sensational knock, and all of Australia's top four got 50s, which tells you how effective Ashwin's spell was. Because if you had let David Warner and Labuschagne continue the way they were batting in the second ODI, we would have been under major threat. So it's a good time when Ashwin, broke the partnership. But again, going back to the third game, uh, Australia also has a really, really strong batting lineup. They bat up to Cameron Green, who came in what, six down?
7 or 8. Yeah,
Yeah,
7 or
I,
8.
I think he came at number eight, and We all know the form that he showed in the IPL, same conditions as the World Cup, and he can be dangerous batsman at number 8 as well. Cummins came at number 9. He's a competent batsman as well. So pretty long batting lineup, and when they are firing like they did in the third ODI, very dangerous team to contend with. Um, and in the third ODI, I would say the bowlers looked a little rusty, especially Bumrah's first spell. I've never seen him concede like more than 10 runs an over for like
Yeah.
5 overs in an ODI game, especially with a new ball. But then he pulled it back. Good comeback. I have to give it to him. Like amazing comeback. 3 for 31 in his next 5 overs was just phenomenal as well. So, uh, but yeah, I mean, there are going to be instances in this World Cup where our bowling is tested because there are teams like Australia, England, New Zealand with really long batting lineups, and they're gonna come and attack us like Australia did. The game has evolved, and I don't think people are going to be satisfied with 250, 260 scores in 50 overs anymore. Yes, there are going to be games which have those scores, but everybody is going to try and shoot for excess of 300 if they are batting first, and our bowling will be tested. It all depends on how we react to it and how we come back from a bad over or a bad spell. And Bumrah showed the way. Good performance. Um, yeah, we'll let you start with our batting, and I'll come back and chip in.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you on the mighty Australia, and we all know what their batting lineup can do, and that's exactly what they did. I believe they were coming after five consecutive losses into the sixth game, where they technically had already lost the series, but they had nothing to lose. This is their one last chance to make a statement before going to the World Cup, and they definitely did. Um, as you said, our bowlers performed exceedingly well to restrict them to 352 because the way they were going around 30, 35th over, um, they were they were expected to get at least 400, if not more. And so from there to restrict them to 352, it was a excellent comeback from our bowling lineup. I I was little sad that Kuldeep Yadav over was not fully utilized, considering the last few months how well Kuldeep Yadav have bowled, but he was never tested when the opponent was going strong. Every time Kuldeep Yadav comes in, either they would be one or two down in the initial overs, or they would be trying to build a partnership. So the whenever Rohit Sharma was trying to introduce Kuldeep Yadav, he made sure that he is never under pressure. So this might have been a great time to see how well he deal with the pressure. What do you think?
Hey, definitely. But even in the short time he bowled, he picked up Mitchell Marsh, the big wicket of Mitchell Marsh, and Cam Green was looking a little dangerous as well. So yeah, it is of course disappointing that we he couldn't bowl the full quota of overs, but I think it was more of a dress rehearsal for Washington Sundar. In I think because probably they knew that Akshar was not fit and they had to find a replacement, and it was a toss up between Washington Sundar and Ashwin, so they had to test out Washington to see how he would perform. He bowled okay. He got a chance to bat, open the innings, which I feel he could
Yeah,
have he could have made the most of such an opportunity, but yeah, it was not to be. But again,
yeah,
I I'm actually happy that they picked Ashwin in
yeah,
the squad just because of the experience he has and with the conditions and also the way he thinks about cricket and um, how big of a threat he is to left-handers especially. Um, the, Multiple teams have 3 4 left-handers in their top 7, and Ashwin will be a really useful commodity against those opposition.
yeah. I mean, whenever there's a toss-up between Ashwin and Washington Sundar, then I was very certain like they're going to go with Ashwin. There is
Yeah.
no reason for them to not go with. And also for Washington Sundar, I felt kind of sad, but also was not really happy. Like I felt both ways during the batting time because I was glad, okay, he got the opportunity. and but it was India's time to build a partnership, and Rohit Sharma was going at almost 200, where Washington Sundar meanwhile was struggling at 45, 50 strike rate, which was because that was his first game after a long, long time, and so he was struggling. He was trying to get go, and also he was trying to not lose his wicket. In the end, what happened was throughout the power play of 10 overs, I think Rohit Sharma was scoring at a strike rate of 180, and Washington was around 60 or 70, and he got out right after the power play. So at the end of the power play, we could have been at a run rate of around 9 or 10, but we were only around 7 point something or 6 point something. So I think that's the part that I was kind of disappointed, but also I understand that uh, that would be too much to expect from him on his first game.
I mean, yeah, you covered about Rohit Sharma as well.
Yes.
It was a brilliant innings,
Yeah.
flawless up until the point he got out.
And
Because
even in that one, I think he played really well. That shot,
yeah,
he was unlucky, and I think Maxwell was lucky. Even he was surprised that he
mm,
got the ball.
right. And I think just the ball before or in the same over he had hit a huge six, and
Mhm.
like next ball or something he got out. It, he was primed for 100 and in really quick time as well. Like about 130, 140 strike rate, 100. It's looking good. I was like, okay, Rohit is back. He's gonna get one of his daddy hundreds before the World Cup, but it was not meant to be. But again, like I said, this is it looks like a new version of Rohit Sharma where he wants to score quicker. And I would say that if he gets these quick fire 50s and 60s, that would actually be beneficial for the team because that sets a platform for the middle orders to come and exploit. Especially Kohli, Shreyas Iyer, and Rahul coming in at 3, 4, 5. If they have a quick start laid out by Gill and Rohit Sharma, they can really take it over. But I think at this moment, I would say the guy who we can depend on daddy hundreds is Shubman Gill. He's gonna. I think this is gonna be a breakthrough tournament for him. Just the way his form has been in white ball cricket for the past few months, uh, this might be a really breakout tournament for him. We need to watch out for him. He could get those daddy hundreds for us. Might not
Yeah.
be the Kohli or Rohit Sharma show. It might be Shubman Gill's show. Might be.
2023 is Subman Gill's year, right? I think he
Mhm.
has double hundred. He has hundreds in almost all uh, formats, and we are. I think I want to mention this. I really, really enjoyed that six Virat Kohli hit against Mitchell Stark.
Mhm.
He just like casually just walked out and then just pricked him straight over his head for a
Yep.
six when he was bowling at 140 plus. That gave me a joy and also like a comfort that okay, Virat Kohli is back, if not to his personal best, but he is he's gonna give at least a few fifties, if not couple of hundreds in this World Cup is what I'm hoping for. Especially the confidence that he had, um, and the attitude that he showed to play the shot and this entire innings.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I know the top five. I really like the kind of headspace or top five is in because almost all of them have runs behind their back and they're pretty confident. Um, and again, like I said, some of them had to kind of reinvent their game. Rohit Sharma trying to score quicker, or KL Rahul playing, a long like a long innings. Uh, Even though when his strike rate might not be like high, especially the game against Sri Lanka in Asia Cup and against the first ODI against Australia. It was not the quickest, but he had to hang in there. He had to adapt a different kind of game because he used to bat top three always in white ball cricket prior to his outing in the middle order. So, and like I said, everybody is pretty confident about their game, and that's a good sign going into the World Cup. Uh, on any given day, if two of these top five have a good day, I think we are set.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting World Cup. I cannot wait for it to start. I think we are less than a week away.
Thank you for joining us, everyone. Let's meet you with another exciting World Cup episode sometime really soon.